Introduction to Subplots and Multiple Axes in Matplotlib. Welcome! Today we will learn how to create multiple plots in a single figure using Python's Matplotlib. We will explore how to show separate charts side by side and how to compare different datasets clearly. By the end, you will know how to make more useful, professional-looking charts for your data. Let us get started. Running the cell now. How might subplots help you compare data easily? We're getting ready to plot. First, we tell Python to hide all warnings, so our output stays clean. We import Matplotlib, a library for plotting in Python. We use a color style that helps us see lines better. This makes our charts look friendlier and easier to read. Running the cell now. Try typing these imports yourself. What happens if you leave out Seaborn of V0_8 colorblind from the style? Why subplots matter? Subplots let us compare trends, spot differences, and show more information without crowding one chart. Imagine showing sales versus temperature for two stores in one image. That is what subplots help us do. Running the cell now. Think of a moment when you needed to see two trends at once. Let us use real-world weather data to make our plots. First, we let Python know this is our data setup cell. We import pandas, a popular tool to work with tables. Here we load a weather dataset from a website. This reads the data file into a table. We print its shape, which tells us how many rows and columns there are. We print the first few rows, so you can see what the data looks like. Running the cell now. What do you notice about the columns? Let us see the main trend in the weather data. This line marks a simple chart section. We make a plot that is wider than it is tall. We draw one line using the temperature values. We add a clear title to say what we are showing. We let people know the bottom axis shows days from the start. We explain the side axis is temperature in Celsius. We fix space so words do not overlap. Now we show our chart. Running the cell now. Could you add a grid to this plot to make values easier to read? First steps with subplots. Matplotlib subplots function is the key tool. It lets us set up a grid of plots, like laying out comic book frames. Each cell in the grid is its own area to show a chart or data. Running the cell now. How could you use a grid of charts in your own life? Let us make two charts, one beside the other. This comment says we are making our first subplot example. We make one row, two columns, so two plots side by side. The first chart shows all days. We label the first plot all data to keep things clear. The second chart zooms into just the first 365 days, a year. We set a title for this second plot. We fix the spacing again so nothing fills in the wrong spot. Finally, we show them both together. Running the cell now. Try changing 1 2 to 2 1 in subplots. What happens? Now let us split the data by seasons and show each on its own plot. We label this part for clarity. We select summer days using the month parts of the date. We pick out winter days with the month as well. We set up two empty plots, side by side. On the first chart, we draw only the summer days in red. We clearly label it as summer days. On the second chart, we draw winter days in blue. We set the title to the winter days. We fix the spaces and avoid overlaps. We show both together for a fair comparison. Running the cell now. How might changing the colors help a viewer understand the plots? Customizing each subplot. Each subplot can have its own labels, colors, and even types of plots. This makes it easy to compare things like lines, bars, and scatter plots at the same time. Running the cell now. What would you like to compare using different plot types? Let us compare a histogram and a box plot side by side. Here, we make two plots with different styles. The first chart is a histogram, which shows how often each temperature occurs. We set the number of bars and pick bright colors for clarity. A title tells us this is a histogram. The second chart is a box plot, which shows the range and spread of temperatures. We label it so people see what is inside. Here, we set the tick to say temp. We make sure the tick matches the data name. We keep things neat with tight spacing. Now we show both plot types together. Running the cell now. Could you try plotting a scatter plot on your own subplot next? Let us see a grid of 4 different plots. We set up a 2 by 2 grid, which gives us 4 places to plot. The first chart shows the first 100 days, using purple. We add a clear title to help people know what part of the data this is. The second place contains a histogram using green. It sums up the overall shape of temperature counts. The third plot spot, bottom left, is a box plot for range. That chart tells us about spread and outliers. The last chart, bottom right, plots only the most recent year. We make it navy color for variety. We keep the spacing nice. Now, all 4 plots appear together in one window. Running the cell now. How many subplots will fit comfortably before things get crowded? Sharing axes, what and why? Sometimes, we want our subplots to line up exactly, for example, to make it easy to compare values. Matplotlib can automatically share axes, which keeps the scales equal. Running the cell now. Have you noticed problems with mismatched axes in charts? Let us see how sharing a y-axis works. We tell Python to put the 2 plots in one column, sharing their value range on the side. On top, we plot year 1 and show the label. Giving it a name lets us use the built-in legend box. On the bottom, we use only data from the last year, using red for contrast. We add a title again, and a legend for clarity. The layouts use tight fit again. Now both appear, matching up to let us compare highs and lows. Running the cell now. Try changing share equals true to false. What difference do you see? Now let us try sharing the x-axis for 2 side-by-side plots. Here we ask for horizontal plots that share the bottom axis. The first plot shows the start of the series. We make clear in the title that these are the first 700 days. On the right, we plot the last 700 days in teal. This title explains the time period to avoid mix-ups. We keep spacing tight again. Both charts now have matching time axes. Running the cell now. Why might lining up the x-axis help you spot changes? Multiple y-axes, twin axes. Sometimes, we want to show 2 lines with very different scales on the same plot. We can use twinks to make a second y-axis on the right. Running the cell now. What would happen if you plotted temperature in Celsius and Fahrenheit together? Let us put 2 y-axes on one chart. We set up one main axis object. On the left side, we plot daily temperatures in blue. We label this left axis carefully. Here, we make a new axis that shares the x-axis but has its own value scale. We make a rolling average, which shows temperature trends by smoothing over 30 days. On the right axis, we plot this average in orange. We label the right axis and color it to match the line. We give our combined chart a title. We keep spacing tight. Now both lines are shown, each with a dedicated y-axis. Running the cell now. Try changing the 30 in rolling 30 to see how smoothing changes the average. Mixing layouts is allowed. Here we use both a subplot grid and a twin axis. We make a row of two wide plots. The left chart is a simple line. We call it all temps. For the chart on the right, we add a twin y-axis. We plot the daily temps in red for one line. We also show a smooth trend with a 90-day moving average in green. Both are drawn together using two-value scales. This second chart is labeled for clarity. We put one legend on the left and one on the right. Placing legends away from data lines makes reading easier. We keep things neatly lined up. Now we see both simple and advanced subplot tools at work. Running the cell now. How could you use twin axes for different units, like speed and altitude? Now it is your turn to pick what shows on your chart. We ask you what type of plot you want to see on top. You type a line for a line chart, or hist for a histogram. We make a two-row plot layout. If you choose line, we draw lines on top and label it. If not, we draw a histogram instead. We set clear titles to keep track. In the bottom slot, we always add a box plot for more info. The box plot gives a summary of the spread of values. Spacing stays tight and clean. Now, your chosen chart appears, and you can compare it to the box plot. Running the cell now. Try both the lines and a histogram in the prompt to see the difference. If you are enjoying this lesson, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more friendly Python tutorials. Let us mix lots of plot types and custom colors in a 4-grid chart. We set up a grid with 2 rows and 2 columns. In the top left we add a purple line plot. On the top right, a gold histogram with black borders. The bottom left is a box plot, with the box colored light blue. For the bottom right, we show a scatter plot using lime green dots and a soft look. Each has a clear title for easy reading. We use tight layout for balance. Now for different plot types appear together so you can compare variety. Running the cell now. See how colors and plot shapes tell different stories about the same temperature data. Recap what we learned. You learned how to set up subplots and grids using Matplotlib. Compare groups or trends with separate plots. Share axes for easier comparison. Use twin axes for different scales. Customize plots with colors and styles. You are now ready to impress with your multiplot figures. Running the cell now. Can you describe when to use a multiplot versus one crowded chart? Thanks for learning with us. Try playing with new datasets and different layouts. Practice makes your skills grow. Want more? Subscribe and explore our Python playlist on YouTube. See you in the next lesson. Running the cell now. Remember to like and subscribe if you found this lesson helpful.